Graffiti is not really legal in Berlin, but UNESCO has declared it a city of design. So authorities just kind of turn a blind eye to the whole thing. Tourists,
like us,
like the graffiti, and the city likes our money, so turn any corner in Berlin and don't be surprised by the huge groups of artists in broad daylight.
Today we're exploring GESUNDBRUNNEN. It's an abandoned air traffic control tower from the times of the Nazis. But as you can see, more recently, it's been used as a canvas for the wonderful graffiti artists of Berlin.
This is Martin. He's one of my best friends on the whole planet. And we essentially traveled to Berlin just to see him. He lived with my family a decade ago as an exchange student. And since then, we've traveled to Jamaica, Amsterdam, I know, and Portugal and Catalina together. He showed us around the city to spots that we never would have found on our own based on TripAdvisor or Lonely Planet or whatever. He took us to GESUNDBRUNNEN to enjoy the views of Berlin and also introduced us to Mr. X. Mr. X would commonly pull down his hat to cover his face, so these are basically the only shots we have of him.
So let me just clarify by saying that we don't really shy away from culturally significant or weird food. TripAdvisor reviews have a lot of best whatever claims, and I feel a little bit like Buddy the Elf in this exclamation of mine, but this was the best burger I've ever had.
In Berlin, around this time of year, mulled wine is the only thing that you can do. Nothing else just makes sense.
There are a ton of things to do in the city, but we're kind of on a budget. So it's really easy to just type in free shit to do in Berlin and just start checking things off your list.
Behind me is the Reichstag Building, and it's where one of the most pivotal events of the 20th century went down.
A fire that started here in this building, which is the seat of German politics, was the singular incident that Hitler and the Nazi Party used to catapult themselves into total domination over the German state.
Entrance is free as long as you sign up 2 hours ahead of time and bring your passport. Plus, free audio tours and views of the city. You can stay as long as you want, which, that's like an hour and a half if you're us, and you have to get video from every angle. But it's cool and free, and actually still the Parliament building.
Like any good tourists, we're here at Checkpoint Charlie.
Checkpoint Charlie was the main crossing point between East and West Germany when the two societies were still divided. It was built in 1961 and finally torn down in 1990 with the reunification of Germany. These days it's a popular tourist haunt.
We started off with a list of things to do, but then for some reason we were just literally always lost.
The reality of traveling is that it often gets extremely frustrating and boring. So then we end up just eschewing the more culturally significant, historically significant places to roam around the city in search of kebabs.
So maybe a better question for us instead of what did you see in Berlin was how many kebabs did you eat?
All of them. We ate all the kebabs.
We ate all the kebabs.
My favorite German food by far is the kebab.